Hey, everybody. Welcome to John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D. Miller. Welcome to episode number 62, número 62 in the old Espanol language. That's right. 1,111 going on 1,112 days as I begin to record this of no booze. No booze. Yeah. No booze. Yeah. So how's it going, everybody? How are yous? How are yous? How are y'alls? Thank you to anybody and everybody who listened to episode 61 with Patrick Logan. I got so much good feedback on it. That's one of my highest rated as far as downloads and listens. And I know he brought his people into the mix that follow him as far as getting numbers up for that. But it was really good. And I had tons of feedback. Had listeners in Paris, France for the first time. Merci beaucoup. Bienvenue. I don't know much more than that. Hopefully I sound a little better than my dad. You ever want to hear somebody speak some messed up French? My dad, who took French in the South in North Carolina, he doesn't say merci. He says mercy. So, but yeah, I did. I heard so many great things about what Patrick was, and I really enjoyed it too. I mean, I learned so much about the guy. Learned a lot. I think he taught me stuff, and I'm 50 years old, and he's 34. And I think he actually made me kind of rethink some of the stuff that I've been doing in my life, ways that I've been acting. I don't know. But he's a cool dude. But thank you to everybody who listened to that. I didn't want to do a non-guest episode, but what are you going to do? I mean, you diehards have stuck with me. The ones who are diehards and have stuck with me since the beginning, especially, thank you. And they tell your friends. Anyways, good job. And if you haven't listened to episode 61, please give it a listen. Patrick Logan, he's only been in comedy for a couple of years, but I think he's going places. You know what? Let's just do entertainment news now. I was already planning on doing this. Over the weekend, comedian Nick Swardson showed up to a Beaver Creek, Colorado show that he was having in a theater. I mean, it's Nick Swardson, right? Come on. And appeared to be just intoxicated, and he had problems with, just doing his bits, just talking, doing whatever. So this is what I saw on the 4th, March 4th. I hadn't heard about it yet. I didn't know anything about it. And I was on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, right? This is part of what brought it up with me. He said, just casually woke up on TMZ. So I'm guessing that whatever happened. Said travel tip: don't drink and take edibles in high altitude. When I first read that, I thought he meant like he took edibles and drank on a plane. That's what I was thinking. Then he wrote fucking brain diarrhea. That's what he said. I'll make it up to you, Beaver Creek. And then he put a heart emoji. So he showed up to the gig. Apparently he seemed to be intoxicated. He was trying to do, according to one report, footage that has been obtained as well, footage of his truncated performance on Sunday. It was called the Valar Performing Arts Center in Beaver Creek. Shows Nick Swardson pledging to rally before appearing to lose his train of thought repeatedly during a joke about actor Jason Statham. It talks about how the crowd began to erupt with boos as Swardson's microphone got turned off, and he proceeds to exit the stage with a crew member. I assume that worked at the theater. I don't know how many people he travels with. I mean, I met Nick one time in person. Very nice dude, very cool. Didn't talk to him for that long, but it was a good 10 minutes. It was not just me and him. It was one other person. But we were all hanging out that he knew. We had a mutual contact. Anyways, I understand they're talking to him for a few minutes. Very nice guy. He was just beginning to be big. It was before Reno 911, put it that way. And we all know that Nick has gone around in his persona. I mean, I've seen all of his stuff. I'd say 90% of it. I've seen it. And most of it makes me laugh. I was watching the one the other day about him. He's talking about I don't know what special is, and I apologize for that. But it was the one, he did it not that long ago. And he was talking about the guy who invented ice cream. And he's like, he's British. He always does the British accents, right? And he's like, I'm going to eat this delicious ice cream. Oh, and he starts licking it. He's like, I'm going to eat it all. I'm going to eat it all. And then, of course, the proverbial ice cream headache. And then he's like, he starts screaming. It's really funny. And he's like, you can have this ice cream, but the devil's in it or something like that. It's fucking good. It's different, I guess I would say. And that's one thing I like about comedy and comedians is that there's just so many different types and styles of people who do it. So, but anyway, so he was on the stage. So the lights go out and he's taken off the stage. Right. And then a few moments after he left, apparently the director of operations for the Villar Performing Arts Center came out to the crowd, I guess, and told him to leave. Like, hey, show's not going to go on anymore. The statement said, what he said was, we've decided to conclude the show early in the best interest of those who bought tickets, which was seen in the video. He said, we apologize for what you've seen tonight. I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm laughing at this. Like, I know Nick Swardson's not laughing about it, and I'm not trying to, be a douchebag about it. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that I hope Nick is okay. That's my biggest concern, really, is that I hope he's fine. And as long as he is, then I want to be able to laugh about this, and I want him to be able to laugh about this. It's one of the reasons why I bring it up. But it's interesting to talk about to me. It involves comedy and something like this happening. He did take a pummeling on some social media. I'm not going to lie about that. Said many of them called him incoherent rambling, and said he was wasted out of his mind, according to a couple of different quotes from postings online. And then the venue later on said that Swardson's show had failed to meet its standards as a world-class presenter of the performing arts. Okay. Now, while I fully understand what they're going for and what they're trying to say with this and with that statement, but you're a fucking performing arts center that what you do is you rent that space. Nick said, I want to do a show in this town. And he went to you and he said, hey, I want to do a show here. And you let him give you money to go out there. I don't care if Nick Swardson was juggling poodles in a jockstrap. I don't know if he'd be wearing the jockstrap or the poodles would be. I don't know. Both. How about all three of them? It would only be 2 poodles. Anyway. Okay, 3. Sometimes when he's not wasted, he can do 3. All right. I'm just saying that statement right there pisses me off. You're a fucking theater. Look, I get it as a theater. Maybe you don't have some type of performances there, but what place doesn't do that? Other than that, you're a business. I don't know. I get it. I get it. You got a guy up there. He's drunk and he's had some edibles. I don't know. Those things in Colorado are. Look, we all know, if you like cannabis, if you like weed, we know how prevalent it is. And we all know that stuff gets to other parts of the country from other places. So I'm just going to tell you, some of this stuff from the states like California, Colorado, those guys are not messing around. That's what I'm saying. Like, they are not messing around. Anyways, so back to the Villar Performing Arts Center thing. As far as their statement on it, I think they're full of shit. Sorry, I'm going on about it, but it just makes me mad that these. Oh well, have you not seen his act? Come on, that's the other part of it. Have you seen what he does? I mean, I'm not knocking what he does. I like what he does. I think it's funny. I laugh at Nick Swardson. I think he's funny, not just his stand-up, but his characters. I think a lot of stuff he does is funny. So for this place to go, oh, well, it wasn't up to our standards. What fucking standards did you? I mean, the guy talks about partying and everything all the time. Okay? And they sent out an email too. Please accept our sincere apologies and be in touch if there's anything we can do to further assist you. What? I don't know. There better not be some people going, I got traumatized at the Nick Swardson show. and I'm suing the theater, Nick, and all these other people. I'm just saying, I'm defending the guy. I'm laughing about it. I'm not going to lie either. I've had a couple of times. God, there was one time I was working the Baltimore Improv, and one of the nights of the shows, I was hosting, and I was a little, I was a little plowed. So that was a bad situation. That was one where, I just remember this one lady in the front row. I mean, she was, I'd say, one girl, lady, a young lady. I mean, she had to be at least 21 to be in there, I believe. So I just remember the look on her face. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Anyways, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go under a blanket. I'm gonna go, leave Nick alone. Just leave him alone. That's what I'm saying. And I don't know. I know he's a good dude. I know enough people in the industry that know him as well. And what a really hard worker everybody says he is, how dedicated he is to what he does in that aspect. And so, I'm sure he'll make this up, and I'm sure he'll make a joke out of it. But with him, like, for instance, at that one time at the Baltimore Improv, if it had happened to me years ago or any other time, anybody, this one road gig I did one time in like Western Ohio, I was hanging out. It was a college town, some little private school, but it was a bunch of college kids, and they got me hammered beforehand. Like, I got there early, and they said, "Oh, there's your hotel. Here's the show. We're hanging out at this bar right here in the middle." I don't know what you would have done. I'm like, come over, and I didn't pay for a single thing that entire night. Anyways, the point being, I'm not going to get in, like I did. I'm sure I might have gotten some bad reviews about both of what I'm talking about. When it happens to somebody like Swardson, Swardson. When it happens to somebody like him, obviously it's a much bigger scope. But I'm just going to say this. These things happen. You're dealing with comedians. Okay? You're dealing with comics. So I just, like I said, my concern would be that Nick is all right. As long as he's okay. Let's all just laugh about it. I do feel bad for the people who went like, fuck yeah, I'm going to see Nick. And then that happened. I remember one time I went to the Improv, and I went to see this guy, and I was so super pumped. And the dude was he didn't get taken off the stage or anything, but at one time the manager walked by me and said, hey, John, you think he's wasted? And I said, oh, he's hammered. He's like, okay. I don't know. I don't know if anything ever came up with the manager and the headliner. I don't know, but I'm just saying it was disappointing. It was pretty bad. Some people were actually left. Not many, but a few. People just got up and just, fuck this, So but I would feel bad, go to a theater, it's a night out. Yeah, you got a sitter, right? So as long as I think Nick Swardson remembers that, I don't think it'll, come on. We can give him a no harm, no foul, right? I think so. Maybe when Nick does go back to Beaver Creek, Colorado, he should have to take a camera crew or something. He could do a video. He could video him talking to people in the crowd. I hope you're all right, Nick. I know we're not buddies, but hey, anytime you want to be on this podcast, you are more than welcome. You just reach out. You want to tell your story, your side of what happened. I'd be more than happy to figure it out. Although I couldn't travel to you. We have to do it remote. All right. Well, staying in the comedic side of the entertainment industry, but I want to talk something. It's not quite as light, though. It's not quite as lighthearted. However, I do want to talk about the passing of comedian Richard Lewis. Richard Lewis was one of these comics that I watched on HBO, the HBO specials, the Rodney Dangerfield ones. Right? You remember those? I remember being introduced to Richard Lewis during one of those, as well as other things that he has done, a myriad of other things, different parts that he played. Actually, one of the ones that I actually really like the most, and it was a small part, was where he was Charlie's accountant on the TV show 2.5 Men. And he had the water, and he had the cups. He was poking holes in the cups, and he was, he was explaining to Charlie the economics of, something coming in and then something going out, as far as money goes, right? So, and I just saw it, and then a couple of days later, and I was like, man, what a great little role he did in that, But of course, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now, Richard had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And had been battling it for quite a while. And, one of the biggest things I heard about him, which was always just how great he was. I never met him in person. He would come to town in different places I've lived. And I'd say, how was it? And apparently he wasn't that social. He kind of liked to be away from people, come out to the show, go away until it was time to do the show again. Everybody said he was a very nice person. A lot of comics had messages from him. He was very supportive of other comics. And I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. And it was one of the best things that when I heard about that, made me respect the guy even more. A lot of times, a lot of messages I saw people shared where he said, hey, I wanted to come support you at this. Even when he wasn't performing, he would just go. He would just go and be there. And I thought that was really awesome to hear that he would do that so much. And just message, but sometimes he wouldn't. But he would send these very kind texts and say, hey, I'm sorry I can't be there. I wish I could. Much love and all that fun stuff. I just want to mention it and rest in peace to him. I just remember the way he would talk, the way, but the thing, and the way I was going to, Richard Lewis had a style all his own, and he was a comedian. And from what I hear, a very nice person. And for that, I want to say to Mr. Lewis, thank you for the laughs and maybe even showing people such as myself over the years how to maybe perhaps be a little better at making other people laugh too. So, yeah, rest in peace, man. All right, well, hopefully you guys are still with me. I don't know. I wanted to talk about it, and it was entertainment news. I was talking about Swardson. Now I'm talking about Lewis. Swardson and Lewis sounds like a great comedy duo. He's fucked up. He's neurotic. They're. All right. Hopefully you guys are still with me. You know how they do that when you watch a show or whatever. Whether they do that, they'll talk about a celebrity or somebody that important that maybe died, and then they go to commercial. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go to commercial. I'm gonna take a break right now. Okay. Make sure you follow me on social media, JonDpodcom on Instagram and Threads. On Twitter, John D Comedy, John D Podcast, Suck It Elon, and John D Podcast on Facebook. You can email the show, JonDpodcom@gmail.com. You can do that. Shoot me an email. I love them. I love emails. I know. I'm old school that way. You can always hit me up on social media. People do. I've talked to some of you out there. Commented back and forth with things, which is always fun to do. You can always do that, okay? And when I get back, we're going to be talking, I think we're going to do a little bit of some Star Wars news, and we will be taking a mildly intensive look at the situation of the NHL. Trade deadline is Friday the 8th, so we're going to talk some NHL, all right? And don't forget, listen to our sponsors. When you do make purchases from them, it does help support the show, which you can also support the show through our official listener support app, Venmo, at JonDpodcom. All right? So stick around. More John D Podcast right after this. When I quit booze for good, one thing I learned was to always keep your palate entertained. And one of my new favorite ways to make it happen is BlendJet 2. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even an NA margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. With over 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from, there's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. What are you waiting for? Go to BlendJet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code JonDpod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 Portable Blender. Go to BlendJet.com and use the code JonDpod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever. BlendJet 2. If you were looking for one of the coolest, geekiest, funnest t-shirt sites you could ever want to shop, go to MondoMonsterwear.com. They take what you love about fun stuff and entertainment fandom like Star Wars, Seinfeld, Airplane, Clerks, superheroes, and more, and make parodies of them so you can express yourself while wearing some of the most popular entertainment characters and franchises in history. Plus, a portion of all their profits goes to different charities, such as Ukraine Relief Funds and the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Right now, you can get an exclusive 10% off your order by entering podcast at checkout. Get the shirt that will make your next night out with friends epic. Go to MondoMonsterwear.com. Shirts that feed the geeky mind. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 62 of John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D. Miller. How was your break, everybody? Mine was only a few minutes long, sort of. Thank you very much to our sponsors, BlendJet 2, JonDpod12 at checkout for 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. And, of course, MondoMonsterwear.com, shirts that feed the geeky mind. Podcast at checkout for 10% off your entire order. We were going to talk about some NHL because I know it's been a while. And, of course, we are coming up on the trade deadline, which, of course, huge time in the NHL, in hockey in general, because you have players moving around, not just in the NHL level, but in the AHL level. You have draft picks, and when people are getting draft picks, let's just look around the league. I mean, I don't know everything that's happened. I know that the Capitals have traded Anthony Mantha, who was having a pretty good season, has 20 goals this year after battling injuries and everything else. He is in the end of a contract season, and they shipped him off to Vegas. You know, some other big trades going. I know Tarasenko went to the Panthers, got traded by the Senators I know that Wenberg was acquired by the Rangers from the Kraken, Middlestat, and Walker from the Flyers. Middlestat, where did he come from? Oh, the Blues. And then, was it Hanifin got traded to Vegas by Calgary, who also got Mantha. So I wish that guy luck. I always was rooting for that guy. Him and Kuzi, who, of course, got put on waivers and sent to the American Hockey League, of all things. Did anybody? Yeah. I know you people are like, well, I thought we were talking about hockey, John, and we're talking about the Caps. No, we will. We'll get to all that. That was very crazy, which, Kuzi had gone through the NHLPA, NHL Player Assistance Program, which is usually, some sort of substance abuse, mental health, other things that could be happening. And, $7.8 million a year. They're just not getting their money's worth out of him. And so, I see why they did what they did. And he could end up being, I believe I read, that Kuzi could end up being the highest paid, rostered player in American Hockey League history at $7.8 million a year. I wish that guy luck. And he will always be loved by the Caps for scoring the breakaway overtime goal against the Penguins in 2018 in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. Oh, what a moment. What a moment. Either you watched it and you saw it, you were there, you were on TV, whatever, the radio. If you were a fan and you were like, well, what happened? I couldn't get, and they told you. Oh. Yeah, my wife has some very good footage of me on the floor of the basement, screaming a lot. I was overcome with emotions. Some of it, I was exaggerating a little bit. She's like, well, you were totally. Yeah, I was. I was elated. It was a moment. And so, yeah. So for that, Kuzi, I hope you get your stuff together, man. All right, but let's just look at the league. Rangers are looking strong. What did they They had won, 10 in a row at one point? Yeah, we're just starting off with the Metro. Carolina, always feisty, man. Always feisty. Philadelphia, building together, getting their stuff together. I think they're, what are they? 9 over 500. So, I mean, that's okay. Islanders are going through stuff. Caps, of course. I mean, nothing helps that they lost Backstrom. They keep losing Oshie here and there. You know, Kuzi's out. I mean, Ovi is not what he used to be. He can still knock the shit out of that puck. I hope he breaks the record, but we shall see. I was watching one of the Caps games on like TNT or something, and one of the guys on there was saying, I don't remember which one, was saying that he thinks that Ovi will just play until he breaks the record. Even if it takes 4 more years, he's going to do it. Because he's going to pot 10 a year, if nothing else. How many more does he need? I know on a previous episode I said I don't know if he'll ever get it, but I hope he proves me wrong. 100%. All right, Pittsburgh. What happened to Pittsburgh? They're going to trade Jake Gensel, is what I'm hearing. I don't know if this is going to happen or not by the time. I mean, it will. New Jersey Devils firing Lindy Ruff. That guy has been around. How long has that guy been coaching? And he still looks the exact same as he did how many years ago? Yeah. They got the Hughes brothers and everything. They're going to build back up. Columbus. They're just falling off. Now, Florida, Boston, Toronto, all playing beast. They are. Florida's got Tarasenko. I don't know. Not sure they really needed him in that aspect, but, you know, once you get him on, maybe you put him on with Barkov, and that guy could fly. Of course, Boston, Pasternak, Pasta, always, even with losing Bergeron. Toronto, Matthews going. I mean, is he going to get 70 goals? I think he might. Detroit, upstart, doing it. Tampa Bay, falling off a bit, I think. Sabres, Montreal, and Ottawa, rebuilding, and in a very good way. I really thought Buffalo was going to do better this year. Central, Dallas. I mean, they're just what they are. They're just what they have been the last few years. I do think they've gotten better through some drafts that they've had. Of course, I think that Dallas could definitely choose their own destiny as far as how they're going to play. Winnipeg doing great. I didn't know this. Did y'all know this, that Winnipeg is actually a huge crime place in Canada? Like, apparently all the murders in Canada go to Winnipeg, or they all happen in Winnipeg. Yeah. Maybe that's the joke. I don't know. No, I never been to Winnipeg. Okay. I just wanted to remember. I drank so much when I used to go to Canada. Unreal. Anyways, all right, Colorado. Well, they're Colorado. You know what they got. Makar and the whole list down. Jeez. Yeah. And they got, what's his name? Gorgiev. He's done pretty well. I'd like to see his game be a little more solid. All right, we got to pick this up. Nashville. This is there. I think they're kind of what they were, what they have been. And once Barry Trotz gets his claws into that team a little more, no pun intended, because I got a cat on there. All right. Once he gets a little more into that team over the next year, I think it's going to be different. St. Louis falling off. Minnesota, underachievers. But they could end up doing something. Arizona, why beat the shit out of the Caps every time they play them? Yet they're 7th in the division, and the division's good. But you also have Chicago. Hey, you know, Bedard. I'm glad he's back from that jaw injury. They're rebuilding, and they're going to be good. I think. Vancouver. I'm telling you, these guys. I think this is the best Vancouver team I've ever seen. That's all I'm going to tell you. I mean, and I saw the team in '94 when they played the Rangers. So they had, what was it, Trevor Linden? Yeah, they had a heck of a team. Anyways, all right. So Edmonton, big trade, getting Henrique, and who was the other guy they got? It would be great to see Edmonton get a cup. I don't think my Caps are going to even have a chance to get into the playoffs. So if they can't, a place like Edmonton or Toronto or Winnipeg, it's to see it go to a Canadian team. It's got to happen every once in a while. It has to. So, I don't know. Kings, who are, that's one of those teams I never root against. Vegas Golden Knights, go fuck yourselves. No, they just have a lot of players I don't like. That's what it is. And then, of course, 2018, which, of course, the Caps beat them. But still, Seattle, what happened? You have a great AHL farm team, and then what happened to you guys? I don't know. Injuries, I know injuries and everything else go into this and other stuff, but, and puck luck. Gotta have it. Calgary trading away stuff, but I don't know what their thing is. Where have they been? Like where have the Flames been? They don't do anything anymore. They're just there. Anaheim and the Sharks rounding out the bottom. Can you imagine playing 61 games of hockey and your record is 15-39-7? Jesus. And you have to just keep going out there and doing it. No, they pay you to do it, so you just keep going out there and doing it. Oosh. That is what a professional athlete does. Yeah, a professional athlete does go out and win big games and win big championships. But you know what a professional athlete also does? They go to work when it sucks. Just like a lot of people do. Those are the ones that really got to slog that shit out. All right, that was NHL talk. So I don't know. Deadline's coming up. I think I don't know. Somebody said I had to pick one now, so I'll do different picks as I go through. We go through the playoffs, the end of the season. I'm gonna pick the Vancouver Canucks right now. That's what I'm gonna say. And then so we'll go through the season, end of the season, and then we'll get to the playoffs. And then if the Canucks lose, then I'll go out and then I'll pick another one. Right? Isn't that how it works? I'm not allowed to do that. It's my show. That's the way it is. So, enjoy the rest of the season. I think it's going to be a good one. I don't know. I'll probably touch on this again after the trade deadline, maybe on the next episode, depending on what that is and who's on it or where it goes. But yeah, it is a crazy time of year to be a hockey fan with the trade deadline and everything else like that. Like you're literally watching directions that teams are taking. Be finally the year, or they're taking that direction where they're falling apart, and you're just like, what the, where they're tearing it down and rebuilding a little bit, and tearing it down. They're getting rid of old players. That's what it is. It's a machine, man. It's a fucking machine, man. All right, talk about industries that turn out entertainment. Let's talk about Star Wars, Disney Plus. As always, anything on the podcast that is geeky or nerdy on the show is brought to you in part by Mondo, monsterwear.com, shirts that feed the geeky mind. Podcast at checkout for 10% off your entire order. All right. Now, I know I don't have a whole lot to do. I keep getting conflicting reports of anything that I'm seeing. And I'm talking about people. I kind of dive. I don't say I surf the dark web. I'm not saying that I'm like that or anything. But I've been digging around for some stuff, about the wars, the Star Wars. I've been getting conflicting reports, yeah. That is a stoner nerd. That's what that is. That's a stoner nerd. So there's definitely 4 things coming out in 2024 on Disney Plus. This is what I have. We don't know about the Mandalorian, Grogu movies. What is it, 2025? Maybe later. We'll see how that goes. But one thing we're definitely getting, and I've seen a snippet of some stuff about this, maybe a trailer dropping soon, if not already, that I've seen, is that Skeleton Crew is going to be out. Now, this is another Mandalorian era show, and it's just based on a bunch of kids, actually. Jude Law is the leading character in it, which I think is an interesting thing. I like Jude Law. All right. This is what a great thing about Disney Plus and Star Wars is doing. It's just bringing all these other characters into it. It's awesome. But we don't know what the exact plot of the show is, and it's supposed to be 8 episodes in the season. If it, that's the thing. We never know. Okay, we're going to get this, and then we have to wait and see. Are we going to get a conclusion to this at all? Oh, we are? Okay, thanks. Thank you, Uncle Disney. We appreciate it. That's what it is. It takes too long. I know. The writer's strike and everything. I know. I've talked about it on here. I'm just saying. Let's pick this shit up. So anyways, we don't know what the plot of the thing is, but Jude Law, it's supposed to be really good. It's received a lot of talk amongst things as well. The Acolyte is going to be out, live action. This is back during the High Republic era. This is actually confirmed. It is confirmed. I have seen it in multiple places. It's confirmed to be a Sith-led story. So, what is that going on? And it's also confirmed a Wookiee Jedi. Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. Definitely, I don't know. I was trying to look at some of these people without having to really look them up. They're not that, they don't stand out that much, but that's okay. Bad Batch Season 3. I think I was talking about this a couple episodes ago. Confirmed. They had to do some mixing, obviously. The sound and everything. Animation. Got to be mixed down for sound and everything. Apparently, executive producers on the show have confirmed that their final mix session is done. So we should be getting something of that. Yeah, The Bad Batch. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. If you like Clone Wars and stuff like that, I'd highly recommend it. And it's been a good one. Also, if you have it, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, if you like that. Also, animation. It's been really good. I like the first one. Yeah, you got to see Ahsoka and Count Dooku doing different things, different parts of their lives, which was actually really, really cool. I really like that a lot. Hopefully this will be just as good. Yeah. Was that all 4 of them? Wait, 1. Oh yeah, okay, that was 4 of them. Okay. The other thing though was that Andor, we're not going to see that at all in 2024. It's going to be in 2025, which sucks. Which kind of sucks. But I agree with several things that I've read that if it's anything like season 1, it's going to be fucking awesome. So let's just all sit tight, see what happens. You have something to look forward to as long as it's still here. I'm very interested to see these new concepts they're bringing into the Star Wars stuff. Can they pull it off? They pulled it off with Mandalorian. People were skeptical about Mandalorian. Fucking love it. Love that shit. Love Mandalorian. All that stuff. Can they pull it off with these guys? Especially the Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. Especially that. The High Republic. All the different weapons and the different types of ships they're going to have. Come on. All these different kind of cars we have nowadays, and then you see a movie based in like the 30s, right? I do want to get to our charities. No Kid Hungry. Many school-aged children are in situations where the best meal of the day for them comes from school. No Kid Hungry helps children with meals when children in need are away from school, such as weekends and holidays. Wounded Warrior Project, the brave men and women who have served our country, deserve the best care that we can give them after they return home. Some of them have wounds that are external and or internal that they may need help with, or even just accessible housing. Wounded Warrior Project. BestFriends.org is making a difference by helping homeless dogs and cats in shelters be adopted faster and in more numbers. Their goal is to have the entire country no-kill shelter by the year 2025. Is it still 2025? It's a lofty goal, and I love it. Anyways, support any of those charities or any other charities in your local area, whatever they may be. Okay? As long as they're a good one, and they are, then go for it. Okay. I was saying just a minute ago about how, hopefully everything's still here. By the time we get to some of the more of this awesome Star Wars content, I just want to reiterate to people that, it needs to be. I think a lot more people are trying to do well right now. I think they could be. I think they should be. Right? So, but make sure you're directing it in the right place. I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to say. Make sure you're putting it in the right spot. That's what she said. Okay. That was a good one. I'm just saying. Make sure that when you are doing good, I think people who maybe listen to this podcast might believe in it. I know I do. Being nice, being good to people, and doing that. And I believe that but just make sure that you're doing it in the right area. Yeah, that's what she said. Don't forget, you can support the show through our official listener support app, Venmo, at JonDpodcom. Don't forget Twitter and JonDpodcast, JonD Comedy, Suck It Elon. I guess I'm still doing that, only so I can say Suck It Elon when I keep calling it Twitter. JonDpodcast and JonD Comedy. Write to me, JonDpodcom at gmail.com. Facebook, JonDpodcast. Threads and Instagram, JonDpodcom. Yeah, JonDpodcom. Executive producers for JonDpodcast are Tom Hancock and Liz Miller. Thanks to them each for helping make this happen in their own ways. This episode was recorded and produced by yours truly, this guy, John D. Miller, in the Amber Tree Media Studio. Don't forget BlendJet.com. JonDpod12 is your code for 12% off and free shipping. Mondo, monsterware.com. Podcast at checkout for 10% off your order. All right. So remember what I said. Do some good, but make sure it's going in the right place. Enjoy your NHL trade deadline. Nick Swardson, if you want to come on the podcast, please do. If you want to tell the story, I'm here for you, buddy. I am here for you, and I'll make it happen. I'll give you free reign, okay? Anyways, I don't think it's that big a deal. All right, and then what else did we talk about? I left a lot of stuff out. I guess I'm going to have to just go do another episode now. No, not right now. All right. We'll see what happens next episode. But I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, download. Tell your friends. All right. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until next time, later for you.